So I'm going to show you how I did that in just a second. But before we go any further, let me tell you that today's video is sponsored by DistroKid. I just made the switch to DistroKid, and I'm going to tell you why. If you've been trying to figure out how to get your music out there and trying to choose the best distribution service, it can be a little overwhelming because there are several different options. I'm going to tell you why I made the switch to DistroKid. The first reason why I love DistroKid as far as what they do for artists is they allow us to keep all of our earnings. That's obviously important. But the second reason I switched to DistroKid is I can upload as many things as I want to upload for just $19.99 a year. They're not going to charge you every time you want to upload something. It's unlimited uploads for just under $20 a year. Now they've got other options too, other upgrades, which allow you to see all kinds of stats. You can even start your own label if you want to. If you've been dying to do that metal side project and you're just not sure you want everyone to know it's you, you can do that with DistroKid. You can also upload your music on TikTok as well. They make it pretty easy. So I'm going to hook you up with a 7% discount on your first year's membership with DistroKid. You can check the link out below. You can go to distrokid.com/VIP/MistyJones and save money. So today we're going to take a look at Swarmalators T, which was built by Dillon Bastan. I know what you're going to say. I've been doing lots of videos on Dillon Bastan devices, but I love them. I think they're kind of amazing. So today we're going to take a look at another one. Swarmalators T is a bank of tone modules or tone generators, which I think is what the T stands for. There's also a Swarmalators N version you can download, which actually outputs MIDI notes. This device was partly inspired by some scientific research into how oscillators behave. I'm going to put the link down below where you can read about that. This is a little complicated, so we're not going to spend too much time on the actual Swarmalators theory or concept. We're going to jump right into the creative stuff. But let's see if we can look at these Swarmalators and how they behave to understand a little bit about what's going on. So I have these little Swarmalators in the middle here, and each Swarmulator is an oscillator, and each oscillator actually has an internal LFO. Before I even turn the sound on, let's look at how these little guys are behaving. So I can control the sync of these oscillators, and how they're attracted to each other based on that. I can control the overall rate of the simulation here, the spread of the Swarmalators, and then the frequency variation between their internal LFOs. So if I crank up this LFO rate, you're going to see the lights start blinking faster. If I slow the LFO rate down, you're going to see the lights start to slow down. So there is an internal LFO that has to deal with the behavior of the Swarmalators. I also have a noise factor, which just gives the simulation a bit of jitter. So I know you want to hear what this sounds like, so let's apply some modulation to these Swarmulators so we can see how it works. So first of all, over here on the right, we have some possibilities for modulations, and we have these sliders underneath these parameters that represent the center or starting place of the modulation and the overall range of that modulation. So for example, right now I'm going to unmute this track, and we're going to hear 3 oscillators, but they're all the same pitch. That's because I need to change the range, and this controls the overall range of differences between pitches of these oscillators. So what if we had the x-axis control the pitch? So as these little guys move around, the pitch is modulated by that position. Now we can add more oscillators. We can add what are called dummies, which don't change anything in the audio path, but influence the overall behavior of all the Swarmulators. What if we had the cutoff frequency modulate according to the LFO? So as I bring that LFO rate down, and crank it faster. We could also have some FM modulation here. I've got the overall FM amount and then the range of the modulation. Let's choose spray. Spray is a random effect that's partly based on the phase of the LFO. So I'm going to choose spray. Maybe crank up my ratio here a little bit. Just give it that FM edge. We can modulate our panning here, which right now it's already set to have the x-axis control our panning. We can also modulate our amplitude. So what I did was, after kind of experimenting with the basics of this device, I decided to immediately throw this in an instrument rack with a bunch of effects to see if I could get something a little bit more musical and a little bit more affected and even softer. So I'm going to show you this instrument rack. Hopefully you'll look at this and maybe get some ideas to build your own. Alright, so what I did here is I threw Swarmulators into an instrument rack with some other effects, and so I chose some basics that I thought would help. I'm giving it a little bit of chorus to help just kind of soften it. I've got some vibrato. I'm using the vibrato setting on the chorus ensemble effect, which is a killer effect, just to give it a little bit of pitch wander. I'm using frequency shifter just to make the sound just a little bit more widespread in the stereo field for a cool effect. And then I've got some echo on here just for some delay. So let's play with some different combinations of these settings and see how we can get this sound to evolve. I'm going to start out with just a few oscillators at a very slow rate, and then we'll start adding things in and making it a little crazier. So let's unmute the track. And it's already going. It's already performing. So let's maybe change the rate here, the motion of these particles. Maybe bring my filter modulation down a little bit for right now. Let's add a few more oscillators. Speed the rate up. Play with the attraction. Add some delay in. Give a little bit of vibrato. Ah, it's nice. A little bit of filter modulation. Give a little FM edge, maybe. Make it a little bit weird. And I've already forgotten you're there. So one of the cool things we could do, and I've demoed this in some other videos, is we can randomize these settings on these knobs, these macro settings, to get some different variations here. So let's have some fun just pressing the random button to see what happens. Nice. Whoa, that's weird. Okay, alright. Ah, that's cool. Love it. Alrighty. I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So this can be used to create lots of abstract textures or really cool pads for your songs. So I'd love for you to try this device out and let me know what you think. Maybe try to build some of your own racks. Let me know if you found some cool combinations of effects or processing that you think is effective or cool or weird. I'd love to try it out. So have fun making more weird sounds. Let me know how it goes.